Alex CHARFEN, a family business failure started Alex's professional career at 8. Awkward in the rest of the world, the rules and organization that business inherently provided made him feel at home. He has dedicated his life to answering the question, how do you make business grow? This led to the question, how do you help people grow? This led to success far greater than he should have been capable of and the discovery of a meta personality type among us. So give it up, Alex.
So I need everyone's help to demonstrate a discovery we've made. So I want to just ask some questions. Like, JJ, how old were you when you knew you were different from the people around you? Like you realized that you were different? 6? Yeah? How old were you, Joe?
12.
12. How old were you, Jason?
7.
7? So that's the first question. Next one is, how old were you when it started to be that you were just driven to go forward? Like it was no longer somebody telling you what to do or an outside goal, but you just got up and had to go every day. Like when did that start for you, Mary Ellen?
In middle school.
Middle school, yeah, that's young. You had parents who supported you, right? Chris, how old were you? You had to go forward, couldn't stop.
I was 5 years old.
5 years old, and it was lit up, right?
I remember.
All right, so let's see here. Travis, how old were you?
I was in my 20s.
20s, so cool, cool. But it kicks in hard, right? And you can't turn it off. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how many of you feel like you have that drive to move forward at like a 10? Okay, cool. So last question. When or how old were you when you had that fire in the back of your mind that started burning that said this really quiet, like, hey, it might be about more than just you? And then it became, hey, maybe you need to make a contribution, and hey, you should help some other people, and hey, there's more that you should do. And then for some of us, that becomes like the singular driving force of our lives. Who's there right now? Look around the room. So we call these the 3 gates of the entrepreneurial personality type. And when you think about this, it's amazing how everyone sees us as so different. Because I've been in rooms like this my entire career, and I can tell you that I see way more alike about us than different about us. In fact, I believe we all have very similar personality characteristics. Let me ask you, like as an example, most entrepreneurs are high future focus, very low present focus, unless what's here matters. How many of you are like that? We call them visionaries. Look around, you'll see. So a lot of entrepreneurs have very high processing speed and ability to just take in data and make connections and move it around. How many of you have that ability? And you know the people around you don't, right? Because we've all been around normal people, right? That's why we come here, to stay away from the normal people, right? And so how many of you have drive for gained advantage? Like in your life, you had to get ahead, right? How many of you have that? Because we know not everyone has that. There's toll collectors. Sensitivity and awareness, really high sensitivity awareness. Now, I'm not saying like you cry a lot, but you see things other people don't see, right? You consume data. You process data, and you can spit it back out in a way that people can understand it, and most people can't understand how you do it. Who does it? Diverse skills and abilities. Like there is so much different shit you do that when you share it with people, they think you're lying, right? And when you share your career, it's like this, but it felt like this to you, right? How many are there? So, and then the innate motivation to drive forward. We are experimental or experiential learners. Psychology doesn't know this about us, but Plato and Aristotle did. They said, he that a man does, he shall learn. Because they were just like us. But normal people aren't like that. I know normal people can learn from memorization. We can't. We have to experience or experiment. How many are like that? All right. Now there's 2 meta attributes of the personality type. The first one is that we are a little bit different than the rest of the world in that, see, I don't believe that any of you feel happy or sad. And I know I sound like a nut job. Believe me, I've been a nut job my whole life until I sold something. Then everybody called me an entrepreneur. And I know it sounds crazy to say that I don't think you feel happy or sad, but I'll be honest with you. Like I think those words were made up to confuse people like us because we don't recognize happy or sad. I've been around way too many entrepreneurs. And the personality type is so pronounced in people who are really, really successful. You know, when I hung out with Sylvester Stallone, when I got into billionaires in business, when I had a chance to hang out with Herbie Hancock, it's the same personality type. It's just different stuff that they do. And they don't recognize happy, sad. See, I know that entrepreneurs recognize one thing. Our state is 100% dependent on whether we're moving forward or not. We are momentum-based beings. And unfortunately, the rest of the world says shit to us like, take some time off or calm down, right? Or, hey, you need to go relax and, meditate on this. And all of us feel like punching the rest of the world out, right? And the rest of the world says, where are you going to be in 5 years? And we're like, fuck off, I don't know. Because tomorrow I could change everything. I might change the world, right? We are momentum-based beings. And we don't recognize happy, sad. We recognize moving forward, moving backwards, and the worst place for us to be is stopped, right? In anywhere in our lives, stopped almost kills us. It is like a drag on us. It makes us feel dead. And that feeling of being in the zone, you can access it all the time. You just have to keep moving forward. Now, the next attribute, I think we're momentum-based. And the sooner you learn it and how to create momentum and keep creating it, then there is no such thing as sad anymore. There's just going forward. And when you're around entrepreneurs who look like they can do anything, it's because they've figured out how to access constant, perpetual momentum. And believe me, I'm there. I get knocked out of it 10, 15 times a day. I just get back in a minute or two. It used to take 3 or 4 weeks, and sometimes a bender. Not anymore, right? The other meta type or meta attribute is that we are driven compulsively through our entire lives by questions. And I think entrepreneurs all ask the same base questions throughout their lives. I've watched it. See, we come into this world and entrepreneurs experience way more pressure and noise than the normal person. You know that. We're sensitive. We see things differently. We process way too quick. We don't really fit into the system. Like, let's be honest, most of you started businesses because you couldn't follow anyone else's rules, right? And so I know the questions. The first one we ask is, how do I stop pressure and noise? This is pre-verbal. We come into this world and it sucks for us. And we say, how do I stop pressure and noise? Because it's a lot of pressure and noise. And we never lose that question our whole lives. In fact, you see entrepreneurs constantly asking, how do I stop pressure and noise? In fact, they buy from JJ. How do I stop body pressure and noise? They buy from Jason. How do I stop financial pressure and noise? They buy from Brad. How do I automate my system so I don't have pressure and noise? That's what we do our whole lives. And the next question we ask is, what is wrong with me? And we never stop. The entire self-help business answers, what is wrong with me? And it continues. See, once we get through or past or around this one, we never lose it. We're still there. But usually what results after what is wrong with me is how do I get ahead? Because if you're screwed, you can at least win. And entrepreneurs do all kinds of things to win. We isolate and read. We pull back. We become people that we're not. We're chameleons. We'll do anything to win. And then the question usually turns into, how do I get further ahead? We call this gained advantage. And some entrepreneurs get stuck here. Bernie Madoff never got out of it. He got kind of jacked up and right here. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs whose lives end here. In fact, you went to school with them, you know them. There's more entrepreneurial personality types in rehab and in prison than in rooms like this. Because the artificial suppression that we suffer right now in the system today makes us, very few of us get past this. But for those who do, how do I help my team get ahead? And this is what changes shit for entrepreneurs, because as soon as we had a team around us, that incredible group of people that we used to hate called humanity, now we start relating to, because they're right next to us and they're helping us get ahead. We discover human beings' purpose as soon as they do that for us. Because prior to that, like, why is everybody really here? And what happens for so many entrepreneurs is this question leads to, how do we help others get ahead? Which transitions very quickly to, how do we help everyone? And if you have any doubt that this phenomenon exists, just line up any biography of any famous entrepreneur and you'll see the questions. Warren Buffett went from being the guy who read and isolated to make money because he couldn't get along with people to, how do I get ahead? I build a tiny company with no people in it that we can take over the entire world, to, how do I help my team and others get ahead? Read Warren Buffett. He talks about his secretary making $1 million and it made her better. He wanted to help more people. Now he's going to give more money away than anyone in human history. That's an entrepreneur on fire. And see, here's the deal. You can just live there. Every successful entrepreneur at the end of their lives has told us how to live here. They say, we all have pressure and noise. Do everything you can in your lives to eliminate pressure and noise. And don't name that shit. You know, ADD and bipolar and depression and all of that is the labels that the people who memorize shit put on us because they don't want us to be creative. And if we don't fucking stop it, we're gonna have the next dark ages, because that was the biggest age of entrepreneurial suppression. So don't believe it. And the next thing that they say is get protection and support. Give it and get it, because what happens is when you lower pressure and noise by requesting and giving protection and support to the people around you, your strengths and abilities will start to show. And I've seen people that couldn't like tie their shoes become incredible entrepreneurs because they were willing to lower pressure and noise, ask for protection and support, their skills and abilities started to show. And here's what happens. We call this the momentum equation, because as soon as you get to contribution, it never stops. And the entrepreneurs that are on fire, the guys like Richard Branson that can't lose, the people who just keep going forward, Elon Musk, they're looking at contribution. The day that they said that Tesla was going to take over the entire superstructure for automotive, he gave all of it away. He doesn't care, he'll make more. So if you want to be successful for the rest of your life and feel momentum forever, here's a simple equation: lower pressure and noise. Ask for and provide the people around you with protection and support. Build a team and you'll see your skills and abilities start to show, and then you'll be able to make a perpetual contribution for as long as you want. And here's what's so amazing about this. It offsets. Every entrepreneur has to work with others. Because the fact is, there's not an entrepreneur in history who ever did anything significant alone. And we call it the entrepreneur's paradigm, because entrepreneurs require far more protection and support than a normal person to reach their full potential, but any request for protection and support makes us feel exposed. As soon as we understand that we reverse the math, make a contribution, protection and support is something we should and have to ask for. It's our responsibility to increase our skills and abilities and lower pressure and noise. We can make a contribution now and forever. So our goal is to let every entrepreneur know that we can access that arc of contribution in our lifetimes, because it's part of our life cycle, and the faster we all get there, the faster we all can provide each other with protection and support to lower pressure and noise, show everyone's skills and abilities, and make the greatest contribution possible. Thank you.